Okay, so example 4B here, guys. This is going to go with like problems 39 through 48 on your assignment. All right, so it says to find the equation for the inverse. It says graph f and the inverse in the same rectangular coordinate system, and then use interval notation to give the domain and the range of f and the inverse. All right, so let's just, let me find one here. I'm going to use f of x equals 2x minus 1. Now, I'm not going to go through how to find the inverse. We already did that in example 2, okay? So, but how to graph it. We've done the graphing before, but I found that sometimes you're struggling with it still just a little bit. Because this is like 4B, except I didn't already give you a graph, so I didn't give you a table. But I did give you an equation, and you can find the table from that equation, can't you? How can we find the table of this one? Can I pick some x values and plug them in and solve for y? I can. So for f of x, I'm going to create my own table. So remember, that means we're just going to plug those values in for x. So this first one is going to be 2 times negative 2 minus 1. What is that? What's 2 times negative 2?
Negative 4.
Minus 1.
What?
Negative 5. You're right, negative 4, and I was saying minus 1 on yours.
Oh.
All right, then plug in negative 1. What's 2 times negative 1? Negative 2, okay, minus 1. Good, then plug in 0. What's 2 times 0? Minus 1.
Hello?
Okay, so then we got plug in 1. So what's 2 times 1? Minus 1. And then plug in 2. What's 2 times 2? Minus 1. And so we could graph those points, couldn't we? You okay with graphing them? So you would graph those points, and then if I wanted to find the inverse and graph it, which we're going to have to, how would I find the points for the inverse? Well, there's two ways. One, we would have already found the inverse equation, so I could also pick some x values, plug them in, and solve for y. But also, what do you know about a function and its inverse? What do you know about x and y? They switch. So could I go ahead and say, well, these are going to be my new x's because they were the y's? And these are going to be my new y's because they were the x? And then just graph those points? Okay, now this isn't all you're going to do for those type of problems. But remember, you're going to find the inverse first. Then you're going to graph it. So now you've got your two tables. You can graph those tables. And then you're going to have to find the domain and the range for them.